What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 107 of the Access to Combat podcast. I'm one half of your host, Hugo the Boss. Hugo got next, joined by my co-host.
It's your boy, Ray Boogie Kahuna. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down UFC 318, Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. On the PFL side, we have their first venture into Africa. And on the boxing side, we got a couple of bangers. We got Usyk going against Dubois. We got some Bam Rodriguez action and the return of Manny Pacquiao in the year of our Lord. Oh, man. Before we get into any of that, my brother, please tell them what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know.
First fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have Brunno the Hulk Ferreira going one-on-one with the debuting, the Moose, Jackson McVey. Ferreira, 13-2 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. McVey, perfect, 6-0, fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri, 26 years old. Something to Jackson McVey's side. He's a undefeated fighter who was supposed to make his debut against Sudrikus Dumas. Dumas ended up pulling out because, when you're in trouble with the law and you can't get your ankle bracelet removed, sometimes you just can't show up to a fight, you know what I'm saying? That being said, McVey, he's a finisher. Never seen decision. And if I remember correctly, I don't think he's even been out of the first round. Opportunistic submissions. He's a solid striker. He's not afraid to use all points of attack. You know, he likes to use his elbows. He's very deadly in the clinch, uses his knees. Does he stand a chance here against Brunno Ferreira? I don't think so. Unfortunately, I think McVey's a little too green. I also think McVey is a little too slow. I think Ferreira on the feet, not only the better striker, the more technical striker. Brunno the Hulk lives up to his name. Explosive, powerful fighter. Maybe a little too patient, but when he lands that haymaker, it's going to put you the fuck out. When it comes to his ground game and his jiu-jitsu, he will mix it up. He can take you down. I think he's probably better on the ground.
He's even competent off his back as well.
100%. I don't really see him really having any kind of issues here with McVey. I'm not going to count McVey out. McVey's a fighter at the end of the day. Can land a knockout, maybe get I don't want to say a lucky sub, but an opportunistic sub, because he's shown in the past he can do that. But I think this is Brunno Ferreira's fight to lose, in my opinion.
I agree. And I also think it's also his fight to lose because he's dealt with pressure fighters like Gregory Rodriguez who present a lot more problems, and he's dealt with them. He has dispatched them in ways that I can't even mention on this podcast because it's unholy.
Hey, listen, that being said, Brunno Ferreira on his side, and credit to him, he's also a, 100% finisher, even in his losses. So in terms of a bet, fight doesn't go probably under 2.5. They're probably going to send it under 1.5. Might be a little tempting. Good luck finding anything bettable, though, in my opinion, though. I think Brunno's the favorite. I think he's the rightful favorite, and I think he wins via KO.
I think so, too. I like McVey's style. I was going to fade Dumas against him, low-key, because Dumas just does not do well against pressure fighters. But this is a guy in Ferreira that he cannot walk into like that. The danger, the danger in the space that he's going to be dealing with for Ferreira is going to be enormous. And I don't think he's going to realize it until he gets cracked. There's no betting lines for it, but I'm going to assume he's the favorite, too. I think he's got him covered everywhere. This Ferreira's fight to lose. Give me Brunno Ferreira by knockout here.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have Superman Ryan Spann going one-on-one with the Bull, Łukasz Brzeski.
Horrible fighter. Horrible fighter.
Spann, 22-11 overall, fighting out of Beaumont, Texas, 33 years old. Brzeski the Bull, 9-6-1 overall, fighting out of Poland, hailing from Poland, 33 years old. Man, we can't escape these low-level heavyweight fights, and they're giving Ryan Spann every chance to win here. I feel like this is, at least in terms of heavyweight, the lowest level of competition they're really setting them up with. Both guys, coming off of losses. This might be a loser walks home.
Might be both of these losers walk home.
Listen. I don't doubt that one bit. We know what Ryan Spann is. Uber talented guy. He's going to be the more athletic guy. He's going to be the more powerful guy.
Submission threats, everything.
But he's a guy that just cannot get out of his own fucking way. And it's unfortunate,
I tried to fade Waldo Cortez in his last fight. And Ryan Spann made me look like a dummy. Hard for me to get behind this guy again because I thought that was a fight where he could exploit the grappling and like he fought stupid. Then when he gets hurt, looks for the fucking door.
And then on the other end, we got Brzeski here, who his only win in the UFC has been against Walter Walker. For better or for worse, the guy is like a discount version of Jailton Almeida. Brzeski, I think, can make this a little interesting on the feet. Brzeski probably has more confidence in the fight game in general than Ryan Spann. I'm going to be picking Ryan Spann. Zero confidence. In terms of a bet, you probably should just stay the fuck off of this fight in general. But man, I mean, Ryan Spann, for Christ's sake, I mean, go watch Superman this weekend.
Get inspired, man.
Get inspired. Live up to your nickname. I think he can get this win. The guy's talented. He's just got to get out of his own way. Give me Spann here for the win. Should be ITD. And might go to the decision. Stinks all of high hell in this joint. Low confidence. That's my lean.
Yeah, I'm with you on the lean as well. And Brzeski, he's a little bit of a glass cannon here because he has one against Walter Walker. That's his name.
Walter Walker.
But if they ran it back, I think Walter beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Low key. I think that's a fight that like it's UFC jitters, UFC debut. I wiped that under the rug. Ryan Spann, I'm going to lean him just on the talent alone, but man, no confidence. I have no interest in playing this. This is if 1-800 Gamblers Delight was like a bottle you could drink. This is the fucking fight.
And on the bottom it says, warning, poison.
Yeah. Rat poison. Like, the worst kind of poison.
The worst kind of poison.
Fentanyl. So, yeah, I'm with you. That's where I'm at with this. Ryan Spann for the lean, but man, stay the fuck off this fight, man.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have the silent assassin Ateba Gautier going one-on-one with Robert Valentin. Gautier is 7-1 overall, fighting out of the Cameroon, repping the Cameroon, 23 years old. Valentin, 10-5 overall, fighting out of Switzerland, hailing from Switzerland, 30 years old. I'll start on the Gautier side. I mean, the guy, extremely athletic, shredded to the T, powerful striker, will fuck you up when it comes to strikes, will fuck you up when it comes to leg kicks. The guy hurts. The guy's explosive. Might even have some wrestling of his own. The one glaring weakness I noticed on the guy, well, actually, two glaring weaknesses. One, takedown defense. It's a little bit suspect, maybe borderline dog shit.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that, his experience is very lackluster. On the other hand, we have Robert Valentin here, a guy who looked supremely good on The Ultimate Fighter on the season that he was on. Since making it to the UFC, really hasn't found any kind of success, has fought back-to-back wrestlers who have straight up dominated him, held him down, beat him up. He's not going to really have to worry about that too much here against Gautier. I understand. I think they have Gautier probably lined as the favorite here. I mean, he's the younger guy, the more explosive guy. I wouldn't rule out a knockout on the Gautier side. But man, the wrestling defense is so sus. I have to take a shot here in terms of a bet on the Valentin side. I mean, this is a fight where I think it's do or die for Valentin. If he loses, he's out. But I think it's a fight that is exploitable. I think it's a fight where if he gets the takedown here, I think he can control the man for the entire round. All it takes is one for Valentin.
Correct. I'm with you here. And Valentin, very good at creating scrambles, was able to do a lot against Ryan Loder, who is a stud wrestler. Also was able to pop up back on his feet against Finney, who Dana White might have had a point, may not be UFC caliber. So
yeah, Finney's another story for another day, but
yeah, but Valentin able to do some decent work. They're able to mitigate a lot of damage and able to create scrambles to get back up to his feet, as well as get submission attempts on Ryan Loder and win positions until he got overwhelmed. This is a guy who's not going to overwhelm him in the grappling department. But we do know Robert can push the wrestling, and that's the thing. So plus he cracks as well. So for me, if this line is big enough, I think a shot on Valentin is not unwarranted here. But the lean is going to be, fuck it, I'm going to be on Valentin for the lean. The bet might also be Valentin. Follow us on all social media platforms and keep up.
Next fight on the card, at men's welterweight, we have Francisco Prado going one-on-one with Nikolay Veretennikov. Prado, 12-3 overall, fighting out of Miami, but repping Argentina, 23 years old. Nikolay, 12-6 overall, fighting out of Orange County, California, but repping Kazakhstan, 35 years old. Interesting fight here. Two guys who are primarily strikers. Prado being more on the smaller side, a guy who used to fight at 155, moving up, you know, and making his permanent home, it looks like, here at welterweight. Going one-on-one against a guy in Nikolay who used to fight at 185 and is currently making his home down at 170. Two guys who, again, primarily strikers. I do like Prado's process and technical ability a little more than Nikolay. Watching Nikolay on tape, the guy hits hard. He throws a decent 1-2 together, and I think he's probably got a decent clinch game, but for some reason just doesn't really come off as impressive, or like, you know, it doesn't really stand out. Where Prado, you know, he's the younger guy here, even though he's going to be the smaller guy, and even though his striking defense might be a little sus, he's got that dog in him.
Got a good chin too.
Got a good chin. I think his process is better. These two guys are going to stand in the middle of the ring. I think these guys are going to exchange heavy. The first one to shoot a takedown here probably can win the fight. If I had to choose, I kind of trust Prado a little more to go to the wrestling. He did, in a loss, look pretty decent against Jake Matthews, where he was able to actually take Jake Matthews down. Give me Prado here for the win. I think this fight probably goes to decision because of both guys' durability. Nothing against the Nikolay side. I know he's fought some killers. He hasn't had a very easy road here, but the guy just does not look impressive here to me. Conventional wisdom says he probably should win. He's the bigger guy. A guy who's fought at the bigger weight class hits just as hard, but give me the youth and technical ability of Prado here to really outshine a very boring Nikolay, in my opinion, and get a decision win.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I think the underlying problem with Nikolay, he's not impressive. He's not. And I'm with you on tape. He's going to be the bigger guy in this contest, but it's like, he's just unimpressive. And he's not a guy that I think has a very good technical process. Also has his defensive flaws. Prado cracks. Prado, I think, will be able to wear his damage more than he'll be able to wear Prado's damage. But with that said, I think this is Prado's fight to lose, even though he's going to be at a size disadvantage. So Prado's the lean. I would like to play unders if I could trust Prado to be a little less durable, but he is very durable, so this fight could very well go over, and that's the problem with playing this fight. It's a high variance, high variable fight. No odds on it, ironically. I'm kind of surprised at this card that a lot of the odds are not out, so stay tuned on all social media platforms. So keep in touch and see how we're going to play these fights, if we're going to touch them or we're going to not touch them at all.
Next fight on the card at men's light heavyweight, we have Jimmy the Brute Crute going one-on-one with Marcin Prachnio. Crute, 12-4-2 overall. Fighting out of Australia, hailing from Australia, 29 years old. Prachnio, 17-8 overall. Fighting out of the Netherlands and repping Poland, 37 years old. Another fight that, when I looked at it on paper initially, and, you know, still true, I think it's Jimmy the Brute Crute's fight to lose here. Crute took about 2 years off, came back, had a crazy back and forth war with Bellato where it ended up going to like majority draw. If you ask me, I thought he won it. I thought he edged it out. I think he 10-8'd the man in the first round. But, you know, Bellato, crackhead chin, crackhead durability. My man got up, recovered, was able to make it a fight after, you know, the second and third round. Going one-on-one here with Prachnio, who doesn't really stand out. He's been in the heavyweight division, or what is it, the light heavyweight division?
Light heavyweight division, yep.
For quite a while here. The most impressive thing about Prachnio is he's a decent striker, but his leg kicks are probably the standout weapon of choice
Nasty shit.
For the Prachnio side. If you ask me, I think Crute, who has the wrestling advantage here, should be able to take down Prachnio with ease and beat him up and win this fight.
Prachnio can't defend Augusta Win taking him down.
The man he looks like a flag in the middle of a hurricane.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just whipping in the wind. The issue that I have here, and the reason why I'm like not 100%, is more because like Jimmy Crute sometimes can just turn his fucking brain off.
He has big Ryan Spann problems.
Yeah, I would say the problems are very similar to Ryan Spann, where it's like the guy's talented. He's not the most technical striker, but man, the man fucking thumps. He will touch you and you will hit the ground. The issue with Crute is that like after the second round,
he starts getting in his own head almost.
It's like he knows he has an advantage in the wrestling for some fights and just chooses to stand up. He gets, you know, a little gassed. He makes mistakes. He'll turn around. He'll go up his back. He'll just make like these incomprehensible mistakes.
Jackie Chan meme mistakes.
Yeah, where you're literally shaking your hands like the Jackie Chan meme. Like, what? What are you doing? On the Prachnio side, if I could bet head kick rounds 2 and 3, I think it's live as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest. If Crute can't pack this man up in the first 2 rounds, Crute is liable to gas. I trust Prachnio's gas a little more. I trust Prachnio to be there all 3 rounds. Crute should win this fight. Might lose this fight. I'm picking Crute for the podcast, but the confidence levels are very low. I don't know how I want to approach this one from a betting perspective. Might stay off of it, but I don't know, man. I'm a degenerate at heart, so I might find something. I might dig up something here, but give me Crute here for the win. He should win this fight if he doesn't turn his brain off or his brain doesn't get turned off by Prachnio head kick.
Yeah, I'm with you here on Crute. Crute, listen, I think Crute's the obvious lean here because he doesn't have to do a lot of work to get this guy to the floor. And that's the truth. Prachnio's not going to make him work. There's a guy that got taken down by Victor Petrino, or Vitor Petrino. I don't even want to say Vitor because Belfort's name is Vitor, and this guy is a fucking fraud. To be
nothing alike.
Petrino got exposed in his last 2 fights against old-ass Dustin Jacoby and old-ass Anthony Smith. And 2 different style opponents. Couldn't finish Tyson Pedro, and Tyson Pedro was begging to be taken out of there on a stretcher, low-key, because it was his retirement fight.
Hey, there's a reason why the man moved up to heavyweight, man.
Yeah, and this is just, if you're getting taken down by that guy and held down and then triangle choked by that guy, Jimmy Crute should do nasty shit to you on the floor, low-key.
Jimmy Crute's game, his top game, is vicious, man. Hey, yo, I mean, if he's on top of you, listen, for lack of better terms, you know, I'm trying to keep it clean, but, you know, fuck it. He's going to be dog shit out of you. The man hits hard. He will control you. It's going to be a struggle on your back with Jimmy Crute.
Agreed. And I think for that reason, he's the obvious lean here. Don't know how I'm going to play it. Once again, I think it's because this card's kind of being put together on short notice, and it's not a good card, to be frank with you guys. It's just a main event than everything else.
For a pay-per-view card, it's
bad.
It's not that good.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why some of the odds haven't dropped, because I think this thing is being slapped together as we go. But based on eye test and what we know, it's Jimmy Crute's fight to lose. It's Jimmy Crute all day, but not sure if I'm there with the betting just because of we don't have a line and just because Jimmy Crute turned his brain off, and he might get turned off if he continues to turn his brain off in the second half of the fight. So with that said, Jimmy Crute should get this done on the floor as soon as he touches the floor. Jimmy Crute buy via ITD, probably sub first round.
Next fight on the card at women's flyweight, we have crispy Carli Judice going one-on-one with Nicolle Caliari. Judice is 4-2 overall, fighting out of Lafayette, Louisiana. Hometown girl, 26 years old, going one-on-one here with Caliari, who is 8-3 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 28 years old. At first glance, I wasn't really excited for this fight, but man, digging into it, and you know, because I got a Tweety Bird brain, elephant memory. Actually, no, opposite of elephant memory. I have dog shit memory. It's goldfish, right? That's the way you would describe it. Watching Judice and even Caliari, I mean, these are actually 2 decent prospects in the flyweight division for the women. This is a decent fight. It's going to be a fun scrap, I think, in general. Judice, very good hands, very good boxing. For the experience that she has, I think she's just levels above it. Caliari on the other side, another girl who's also got decent striking of her own, but I think really excels in the grappling and submission game, you know, because of her Brazilian background. The main question here for me is whether Judice is going to be able to keep this on the feet long enough to really piece up Caliari, because I do think she has the distinct boxing advantages in this particular matchup. For Caliari, it's all about using that durable chin of hers, getting on the inside, taking Judice down, and maybe even finding a submission. This is one of the rare women's flyweight fights that I think can finish. I think Judice is currently the favorite, but if Caliari is a big enough dog, I think technically she's the better overall fighter. I wouldn't mind taking a dog shot on Caliari here. And I wouldn't mind entertaining a fight engine sub or Caliari sub in general. But give me Judice here. Low confidence, but for a dog play, I might be entertaining the Caliari side here for the win.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreement with you. I think the unders are a good look here too, especially if they said at like 2.5. I feel like this is a fight that a little bit of high variance, something I would typically stay off of, but this is a value play fight, in my opinion. I agree with you. If the fight stays standing, Judice is going to lamp her, and if Caliari can get it to the floor, Caliari is going to probably do nasty things around the floor, low-key, because Judice is a little bit incompetent off her back. But she has improved the takedown defense. She has done a lot of good work. I'm going to lean her because I think she has the better skill set and she's bigger. But Caliari at a big enough dog value size, I think is worth a sprinkle. Like, this fight is very interesting on paper because of the variables. So give me Judice as the lean man, but not with a high degree of confidence. This might be dog or pass, as my brother mentioned.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have the Matrix, Kyler Phillips, going one-on-one with Loke Dog, Vinicius Oliveira. Phillips, 12-3 overall, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, 30 years old. Loke Dog is 22-3, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 29 years old. I think this is an appropriate step up for Vinicius. This might be a bit of a step down for Kyler, considering his last opponent was, I think, Rob Font.
Yes.
Who gave him a good old veteran lesson, let him know that there's still levels, and Rob Font, you know, the Boricua still got some gas in the tank. Letting people know, yeah, I must have forgot. I ain't out of here yet. Loke Dog, listen, this Oliveira is a guy that I kind of keep underestimating, but fuck it, I'm putting respect on the man's name. This is a fight that I think he should win. This is a guy where, like, he's unorthodox. His striking's unorthodox. His grappling is very weird and kind of hard to handle. Phillips, very technical on his end, but, you know, if he gets pushed hard enough, does have some gas tank issues. I think he's going to need every aspect of his mixed martial arts to really give Vinicius some problems here. But Vinicius is a guy that knows how to, you know, even though he keeps his hands down and looks defensively dog shit, is actually decently responsible on the feet. Hits hard. He's explosive. He's a part of this new Brazilian wave, even though he's not a part of the
Fighting nerds.
Might as well be one of them, because this new wave of Brazilian grit that's coming through, these guys don't give a fuck, and they're coming through to make a name for themselves. I think this is Oliveira. I don't know how he gets it done. Don't know if he's able to finish Phillips here, but I am confident that he probably wins this fight. Give me Oliveira as the side. Not sure how I want to approach this one from a betting perspective.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just to add on to that, I'm going to keep it real short. I think Vinicius' physicality is going to give Kyler a lot of problems. Kyler Phillips, I've never been the biggest fan of him. I think he's kind of fraudish, low-key. And I think he has severe gas tank issues down the stretch of fights. Like, the Rob Font fight was a perfect example of that, and that's an aged Rob Font. So you're telling me a young, big dog, Loke Dog is going to fall apart with this guy? No, I think he's gonna break before Vinicius does, and Vinicius has improved his takedown defense. So don't get me wrong, like, this is a fight where Kyler probably could control him. This is definitely a line thing too. Want to see how it's gonna shake out, and then we'll make a decision. But once again, follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll definitely let you know how we're gonna play this fight, if we're gonna touch it at all.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have Adam Fugitt going one-on-one with the Ripper, the debuting Islam Dulatov. Fugitt, 10-4 overall, fighting out of Oregon, 36 years old. Dulatov is 11-1 overall, fighting out of Germany, hailing from Germany, 26 years old. Kind of a weird fight, because Dulatov is a guy that I feel like the UFC is very interested in, because, you know, he's an explosive striker. He's a guy that gets finishes. He looks the part. He kind of feels the part. Pause. But he still feels a little green to me, still looks a little green to me. Fugitt,
not the most impressive prospect or / veteran at this point in the UFC.
Fugitt, in my opinion, not really a world beater.
Yes.
A bit of a gatekeeper, but on the lower end of gatekeeping. He's a guy that you can beat, but you don't really want to sleep on, because he will, you know, pull the occasional upset on, you know, for instance, when he fought Kinoshita. And I was like, I thought that was Kinoshita's fight to lose. And he kind of was like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta be on your A game when you're fighting Fugitt, for better or for worse. I think Dulatov should win this fight. I think he should probably knock out Fugitt.
I like how casually you said that.
But this is a fight where it's just something fucking stinks about it. And I don't have the confidence to bet Fugitt. Depending on how wide the line gets, maybe the confidence grows. But I'm gonna pick Dulatov for the win here. Low confidence. Wouldn't be surprised that a Fugitt upset here, because he's a guy that I feel like, even at a low level, kind of gets a little overlooked. I think this is a good test for Dulatov in terms of, are you UFC level? Are you ready to be in the UFC? I think one way or another, we're going to find out. Don't know how entertaining this fight's going to be. Give me Dulatov for the win. Low confidence. Don't know how I'm going to approach this one from a betting perspective.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not that high on Adam Fugitt at all. And I'm just going to lean a lot of just based off of that, to be honest. If he's a gatekeeper that's watching the gate that Chihuahuas can't get through. He ain't watching no gate with fucking Rockwilds and Pitbulls. You feel me? Them boys is coming.
Them boys is coming.
Boys.
Hey, yo.
So for me, it's like, you know, Dulatov has a lot of questions too. And I think that's why I'm not as, you know,
gun-ho
on him.
I get it.
Good terminology there. But I'm going to lean him here, but don't know how I'm going to bet it. But once again, to my brother's point, if that fucking line on Fugitt is wide, pause, sprinkle a quarter unit on it, sprinkle 1/10 of a unit on it, see how it looks, see how it plays out, might make a little money that night, just because Dulatov, I feel like, has a lot of questions to answer as well. So give me Dulatov as the lead, but not with a high degree of confidence.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have the Italian Dream, Martin Vettori, going one-on-one with All In, Brandon Allen. Vettori, 19-7-1, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, but repping Italy, 31 years old. Allen, 24-7 overall, fighting out of Covington, Louisiana, another hometown boy, 29 years old. An interesting fight. This is one of two fights that I have circled because this is one of two fights that kind of involve these quote unquote perennial middleweights, the guys who have, like, you know, been in the game, kind of been sitting in the ranked position for a while. Tough to beat, but also tough to like really ascend to that championship level at the same time. I'm talking about Vettori here in this instance, where, you know, the guy is durable as shit, will throw an abnormal amount of punches, doesn't really possess that kind of power to really put anybody away for the most part. I think 90% of his wins have literally been by decision in the UFC, maybe even more.
Which is weird because if you look at him, you would think he stops dudes.
100%. I mean, the guy is built, the guy is chiseled, the guy actually has a decent wrestling game as well whenever he decides to go to it.
Right.
Now looking on the other side here, we have Brandon Allen, a guy who has been, you know, improving, a guy who's going to have probably the size and reach advantage in this fight, a guy who I think has the better finishing instinct in this fight. Is he a guy that I think is going to finish Vettori? I don't think so. I think this fight probably goes all three. That being said, I'm going to be leaning Allen here because even though I don't think his wrestling is superior to Vettori's, I do think Vettori, even though he's 31 years old, he's an old 31. The man takes an abnormal amount of damage. And, you know, like a fighter that we're going to be discussing later on in this card in Max Holloway, I'm waiting for that chin to finally go.
It kind of already did, low-key, but yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Not that Brandon Allen is the most superior or technical striker, but I think what Brandon Allen can do is not wrestle Vettori, but I think do enough grappling where he can get to Vettori's back and maybe control him for a round or two and really kind of just slow this one down. It's a 3-round fight that I think goes the distance. Give me Brandon Allen here to, you know, squeak out a decision win just based on back control. I don't know, again, if he finishes Vettori here. I guess from a betting perspective, I don't know how I'm going to approach it. So I guess technically I'm not all in on All In, but give me All In for the win.
Yeah, I'm with you. He probably gets this done via decision for all the reasons that you mentioned. And I think he also has a power edge here too. Vettori doesn't really land with authority as much as you probably like him to. Brendan Allen can crack. And Brendan Allen, very good at getting to your back. Was able to get to Chris Curtis's back on multiple occasions, and that guy has superb takedown defense. Vettori's kind of in the same boat. Vettori's just a little bigger, low-key. That's why this fight has a lot of intrigue, because it could just be a stand-up affair because they respect each other's wrestling so much. But if you're asking me, I think Brendan Allen's the younger guy, like in terms of mileage. He has the better skills. I think he puts it together a little better. He looked very good in his last contest until he kind of just fell off a cliff against Imavov. And now we see where Imavov is. And then I think his last loss aged better than Vettori's. Vettori's was Roman Dolidze, and Roman Dolidze is, in my opinion, never going to be a world championship level fighter. So,
I mean, in my opinion, I think Brandon Allen's last 2 losses have aged decently because, I mean, Imavov, like you mentioned before, I think that guy's a perennial contender. He's finally like really blossomed into the fighter that you know, can really make a run. And then, you know, losing to Fluffy Hernandez.
Ain't no shame in that.
Ain't no shame in that because that man is very legit on the ground.
Yeah, I was able to give Fluffy a lot of trouble too.
Yes.
Like the scrambles were insane. So for me, it's like I haven't yet seen someone really try to wrestle into Vettori, and I'm interested to see it. And I feel like there might be some exploitable shit here. So I'm going to say decision just out of respect for Vettori, but man, we'll see how things get closer to fight time.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have the Trailblazer, Kevin Holland, going one-on-one with D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. Holland, 28-13 overall, fighting out of Fort Worth, Texas, where them Texas boys at, 32 years old. Rodriguez is 19-5 overall, fighting out of Los Angeles, California, 38 years old. This is a fight that was made a super long time ago, a while back, for one reason or another. Khamzat Chimaev missed weight, and you know that legendary 3-fight scramble when they ended up like, you know, putting the Leech in one fight, putting Kevin Holland against, you know, Chimaev, and I think it was D-Rod that actually fought the Leech, right?
Yeah, and then Tony Ferguson fought Nate Diaz.
Yeah, that whole scramble, that whole mess of a situation. Nate was originally supposed to be fighting Chimaev,
Which is...
I mean, man, they were setting that man up for slaughter. But that's something that, you know, hey, the past is the past. You know, Nate Diaz forgave Dana White. Dana White forgave Dana White. We'll move on from there. Kevin Holland getting the run back here with D-Rod. Kevin Holland, who since making his weight cut back down to 170 and also has a new mission statement in life where it's serious season, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Holland is focused. Kevin Holland has declared that he's focused. Kevin Holland has proven that he's focused. He wants to make a run, a legitimate run. And you know what? Kevin Holland's one of these guys where it's like, you know, you didn't really believe him at first. The guy, he just likes to fight. He takes fights for fun. He takes fights for the sport of it. That made him a little unbettable, a little unreliable. I don't think so anymore. I think I believe him. I think he's legit here. I think when they made this fight a long time ago, I think I might have been on the D-Rod side. And it was because, hey, Kevin Holland's unreliable. You don't know what kind of Kevin Holland you're getting. You know, is he the goofy Kevin Holland that just wants to show up for a paycheck? Or is this Kevin Holland who wants to, you know, take shit serious? Give me Kevin Holland here for the win. I think Kevin Holland makes this a very entertaining fight on the feet. I think D-Rod is probably still the better technical striker, but Kevin Holland, the better MMA fighter, the more athletic guy, the more gifted guy. D-Rod, you know, a guy who, you know, I'm a fan of, but at the same time, you know, the guy walks around like he wears a back brace. I know I've made this joke once. I'll make it one more time. He just looks stiff in there. He looks a little older than his age, and he's old for this division. I think the Trailblazer wins. I don't know how. I can see a decision. I can see a finish. And from a betting perspective, don't know how I'm really going to approach this one either, but I do feel confident. If it's bettable, maybe throwing Kevin Holland in a parlay.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I think it gets done ITD, and I think it gets done ITD because D-Rod literally aged overnight. It hurts me to see it because I do like him as a fighter. His story's amazing, but he like kind of aged overnight. And it's glaring. Like his footwork is not there. He's not quick. He looks like he's walking with a cane at this point, like in the octagon.
He just looks stiff, man.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. And this is a Kevin Holland who's surging. There's a guy like when Christian Bale endorsed Harvey Dent. I believe in Harvey Dent. Well, guess what? I believe in Kevin Holland. I do.
I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, at this weight class, I've been saying it for years. You can go back to the old clips. He is a force at this weight class. He has the dimensions. He has the size. He has the punching power. He can fucking grapple.
He's great.
And he's fucking durable as shit. So for me, it's like, this is a fight where it's his to lose. He's the guy with the grappling upside as well. And he's the guy that I think is kind of like surging right now where D-Rod is still trying to figure it out. I think it's a tough fight for D-Rod. I think he gets it done against D-Rod, probably second round, either by submission or knockout. So give me Kevin Holland ITD here.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have the eraser, Paulo Costa, going one-on-one with Roman Kopylov. Costa, 14-4 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 34 years old. Kopylov, 14-3 overall, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 34 years old. Another very intriguing fight, another fight where, you know, I mentioned earlier with these guys who are just in the middleweight division who have just always been ranked for a while, perennial contenders, perennial middleweights for the most part. Costa, a guy who doesn't fight enough for my liking. He's like a once a year kind of fighter, but a very extremely talented fighter. I think he's got wrestling. I think he's got grappling. I think he's got striking. The guy looks like a fucking Adonis. He looks like he should be in that new movie coming out with Christopher Nolan, The Odyssey. The guy's got all the talent in the world. The issue is that, like, you know, Costa, back in the day, at least early on in his career, he talked the talk. He walked the walk.
The eraser, baby.
He was the eraser. That's only gotten him a win, his last win against Rockhold. He's lost 4 of his last 5. This is a step down for him. This is a guy in Roman Kopylov who is a very good striker. Punches with authority, kicks with authority. A guy that I think Costa, if he's talking his game and needs to walk his game, can probably take Kopylov down here and probably win. But I don't trust it, man. I don't trust it. I think this fight is going to be a primarily stand-up affair. I think Kopylov has got the volume. I think Kopylov could probably hurt Costa here. I can't believe I'm even feeling this, but I think this is a fight where I kind of want to back Kopylov here, and it's dangerous because I think Costa's just a better overall MMA fighter, but he doesn't put his money where his mouth is. He's capable of it, So it might be dangerous for me to pick Kopylov here, and I'm ready to look wrong. I'm ready to look wrong. Give me Kopylov here for the win. It's a 3-round fight, which benefits both gentlemen, in my opinion. Kopylov has got the power and the volume to win via decision. Don't know if he can get Costa out because Costa's tough as fuck. But I'm leaning Kopylov here for a win.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Kopylov side here, and I'm with you on the Kopylov side for a couple of reasons. I think Paulo Costa, he is the Brazilian Sean Strickland, talks a big game, doesn't do shit when he's in there, fights like a pussycat. This is a fight where he could also be backed up in this fight because he's been backing up his last couple of fights. Literally ran the whole fight against Sean Strickland. I don't even know how they gave it a split decision. That was a dog walking by Sean, to be frank with you. And Kopylov is coming into his own, has the faster hand speed here. He can wrestle too. I don't think he's going to wrestle Paulo, but I don't trust Paulo at this point in his career to put the kind of pressure on Kopylov to break him down, even though Kopylov has the bad gas tank issues. If this was a 5-round fight, I'd be a little more confident playing Paulo, but this is a 3-round fight. I think Kopylov can take 2 of these rounds. Give me Roman Kopylov by decision here, just because I trust Paulo's chin to hold up as he runs away or as he enters space and gets clipped and dropped and then gets back up and then survives somehow. So give me Kopylov here via decision.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have 50K Dan Ige going one-on-one with the Pitbull, Patricio Pitbull Ferreira. Ige, 19-9 overall, fighting out of Hawaii, 33 years old. Pitbull, 36-8 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 38 years old. This is a fight, in my opinion, that should have been made first.
Agreed.
When I say first, I mean first for Pitbull. I think when Pitbull first came in, for better or for worse, the UFC didn't do that man any favors.
Told you guys that Yair was a bad matchup, by the way.
Threw him against Yair, who, you know, an excellent striker. To Pitbull's credit, I mean, Pitbull's able to get him on his back several times in that fight. Was able to take him down even in the second round. I don't think Pitbull looked old. I don't think Pitbull looked outmatched. I just thought it was a bad stylistic matchup for a guy who, even at 38, is very good, very technical, very defensively sound, and I think his hands are quicker than people want to give him credit for. He's just a little undersized and had to fight a guy who, you know...
Big, young, and dynamic.
Yeah, in Yair, that exactly what my brother said, big, young, and dynamic. Now he's fighting 50K Dan Ige here. Dan Ige, a guy who, you know, as of recently has been, you know, getting some gold stars in his badass section of his, you know, resume. Most notably stepped up extremely short notice, last minute, hours even, to fight Diego Lopez, a guy who nobody really wants to fight. Ige here, unfortunately, I think he's a little outmatched. If you like the Ige side, it's 100% knockout. The guy's got fucking mallets. He should probably get 50K tattooed on each of his fists. That being said, I think Patricio, at dog odds here, by the way, wouldn't be at dog odds if this was his first fight.
Agreed.
I think he'd be the favorite if he didn't fight Yair here.
Yeah, this is a Vegas overcorrection. I feel like this is an easy Patricio play. He's got the timing. He can grapple. This is the first time that Dan's going to be fighting someone that's smaller than him, which is going to be super interesting. But if you want the real, it doesn't matter with Patricio. There's a guy who's knocked out 55ers and put them on their fucking face. Yeah. So
the worries I got about Pitbull, low volume, his age, his chin. That being said, I think he's going to be able to take down Ige. I think he's going to be able to control Ige for the most part on the ground if he wanted to. And I think on the feet, he's going to be able to slow this pace down the way, you know, all Pitbull fights go. And even though it's going to be a low volume affair, I think Ige is not going to be able to have as much success as people think. Give me Pitbull here for the win. At dog money, this is the fight that's very winnable for both guys, but I like Pitbull in this situation. I just think he's the better fighter.
Agreed.
Next fight on the card at lightweight, we have Michael Johnson, the Menace Michael, going one-on-one with the Golden Boy, Daniel Zellhuber. Johnson, 23-19, fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, 39 years old. Zellhuber, the Golden Boy, is 15-2 overall, fighting out of Mexico, repping Mexico, 26 years old. Why this fight is the co-main event in the year of our Lord 2025 is beyond me. And it's less on the Zellhuber side. I think he's a co-main event worthy guy. It's more on the Michael Johnson side. Surprisingly, the co-main event here in a fight that, like, listen, I get it. Michael Johnson, the greatest 500 fighter in the UFC, the guy who will beat the best and lose to the worst. Not that Michael Johnson is, you know, a slouch, the gatekeeper in every sense of the term, a guy who's very talented, but a guy who, unfortunately, in this particular matchup, I think is going to lose. Zellhuber, I get it. You know, people like to hold on to that Trey Ogden loss that he has. I think that was more of like, you know, some UFC jitters against a guy who is very high IQ, a guy who game planned for a guy making his debut in the UFC and, you know, really showed him, hey, man, it's not going to be a cakewalk. This ain't the regionals no more.
To be fair, though, too, and I'll jump in here just to, you know, make this a little more, I guess, of a debate. Zell Huber did get beat up by Ribovich's last fight. Got dropped, if I'm correct. If not dropped, like hurt on multiple occasions. There's a guy, Michael Johnson, who does tend to crack these dudes, especially guys that walk straight in with their chin up. But to further jump onto your point, this is Zell Huber's fight to lose, man. I think Michael Johnson is way past his prime. The fact that he's the co-main event on this fucking card just shows you how dog shit this card is, low key.
Kind of for a pay-per-view, which is insane. And to your point for the Ribovich side, the only difference there is that Ribovich, durable as hell. Hell of a chin, but very hittable. Also, to be honest, a guy from Argentina with wrestling, that shit's an anomaly. I was sleeping on the wrestling game and the grappling game of Ribovich.
Me too.
Johnson does have that same, maybe even better wrestling. I don't think he has that same chin that Ribovich has.
Yeah, which is why I'm more on the Zell Huber side, but if Michael Johnson's knockout is like sitting at a crazy number, he can lamp anybody.
And Zell Huber, another guy who, you know, I think his grappling is also a little underrated. And I think if it went to the ground, I think he can give Michael Johnson. It's a fair fight. I'll put it that way.
Agreed. 100%. I just think it's like I said, this is a fight where I don't know why Michael Johnson's the co-main, but it's Zell Huber's fight to lose. Give me Zell Huber. I'll say ITD here just because of the volume and pressure he's going to put on Michael, but the unders intrigue me in this fight as well. And a submission play for Zell Huber, even a club and sub situation where Michael Johnson might get hurt and shoot on him.
Hey, and even fight ends in sub is something that, you know, I don't think it's the worst look.
I agree, 100%. So Zell Huber's the lean here. Follow us on social media platforms to see how we're going to play it.
Next up, and is currently constituted the main event of the evening for the UFC BMF title, we have Max Holloway, Blessed Holloway, going one-on-one with Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Holloway, 26-8 overall. The BMF champ, fighting out of Hawaii, repping Hawaii, 33 years old. Poirier, the Diamond, is 30-9 overall. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, but repping the hometown boy, Louisiana, here in a swan song fight. What it feels like, 36 years old.
Oh, that's what it is. This is a retirement fight.
Oh, yeah. And hey, listen, Dustin Poirier, one of these guys where it's like, hey, every time he makes it to the big show,
the lights get too bright.
The lights might get a little too bright. The guy might flounder a bit. But like I mentioned before, it's Poirier's swan song. He's at home. He's in Louisiana. Possibly, more than likely, very likely, his last fight. Going against Max Holloway, a guy who we see some cracks in the shield here. Also, the shield, when I mean his shield, I mean his chin.
And also a guy who Dustin has beaten twice already. So for me, I'll be honest with you, this fight is scary to bet on for a lot of reasons. And it's scary to bet on because Max's chin is a little sus at this point. I don't think the Poirier thing was a blip. I think it's a trend. You've seen in the Gaethje fight, he got dropped with the same left hook from Gaethje, and I think Poirier's seen that in the film as well. I think Max is probably going to be able to control the distance a little better than Dustin at this point of their careers, but you're telling me that Dustin's not viable to catch him on the chin at some point and probably put him out. Dustin's one of the biggest punches that he's faced. They fought the last time. Max didn't have the proper time to get his body acclimated to the 155 weight class, but you still seen the power difference between the two. Max is not the biggest puncher. He is better now because he makes better defensive decisions now, but this is also a situation with Dustin Poirier where I feel like Dustin might rise to the occasion against this guy because he might just be a guy like Volkanovski that has Max's number. So for me, can't trust a guy that's on the retirement tour, to be frank with you. These guys are both relatively durable unless they're getting caught with head kicks, so betting the unders is kind of out of the question. If this is like a short, like 1.5 over, I think that's fucking sneaky. But once again, seeing Max and his condition and the way he's been able to wear shots as of late, I get it's the Poirier, man, but it happened against Gaethje. He had gotten hurt the fight before that against Volkanovski temporarily. This is it's a high variance fight. That's the best way to say this. And
listen, I couldn't have said it better myself, but to add, just a couple of points that I've noticed here, to Max's credit, slightly younger. Max, a guy who, if you ask me, has still been improving his game and adding more tools to his repertoire where Dustin Poirier really hasn't evolved his game and has been not stuck in the mud, but you know what it is. You know what you're getting with Dustin Poirier. Max is not the same Max. Max coming back up to 155, I think it will help his chin. This fight is very interesting, but for that same exact reason, I think you're right. It's one of these fights where I kind of want to stay a little hands off when it comes to betting and maybe just sit back and enjoy this one.
Yeah, but for sure, and I think where you're getting at too, I agree with you, and I think you're probably going to agree with me here. I think Max is the lead. He is. And for all the purposes that we labeled there, I'm going to lean him, not with a high degree of confidence, but he's the pick I'm going to make here because I agree with you. He's the younger guy. He's worn a little bit more damage. I think he's absorbed the most strikes in UFC history without getting dropped until recently, obviously. But this is a guy who I think has made a lot of technical improvements, was able to manage Gaethje, and Dustin was able to get landed on by Gaethje. So for me, I agree with you. Dustin hasn't evolved his game too much. I think Dustin is looking at the door. Max is not. I think Max thinks he can make a run at 55, particularly since he's not depleting his body anymore.
I hope so, because I feel like the thing I fear the most is the Tony Ferguson fall off.
Yeah.
Because once the chin got checked, it was all downhill for Ferguson. I got a gut feeling it could be a similar situation here for Max, but I mean, I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, no, 100%. But the thing is, too, Max makes better tactical decisions than Tony.
You're right.
And Max rolls better with punches than Tony. So for me, this is Max Holloway to fight to lose. But if Dustin wins this fight, I'm not going to be surprised. It's just a fight you should stay off of, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the popcorn and get some soda and make sure you're available because this shit's going to be a banger.
And that does it for UFC 318. Now we're moving right along from Louisiana to Cape Town, South Africa. We've been covering PFL's first venture into Africa, Cape Town 2025. We're only going to be covering the main card because the prelims for this card is pretty much a tournament with a whole bunch of local fighters that I just did not want to cover. There was just way too much. Yeah, way too much.
On top of that, a lot of footage not available to us too. So
100%. So to kick it off, the main card, we have AJ McKee Jr., the mercenary, going one-on-one with Ahmed Magomedov. McKee, 22-2 overall, fighting out of Lakewood, California, 30 years old. Magomedov is 11-1 overall, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 29 years old.
No lines available for this PFL card as usual. That's why the UFC situation is a little unique. But PFL, we're just going based off of what we see and making assumptions on what the line may or may not be, and then giving you guys educated guesses a week in advance. But if you're asking me, this is AJ McKee's fight to lose, and it's his fight to lose because Magomedov. I said Ahmed. I was gonna mix Ahmed and Magomedov together, but
but listen, Ahmed's his first name, so you're not completely wrong.
Yeah, so mix them together, Magomedov. But no, Magomedov. He's a guy, not the best striker, doesn't have the biggest amount of power, a guy who's gonna push the wrestling. The thing is, he's wrestling into a stud wrestler of AJ McKee here. AJ's moving back down to 45 after the Paul Hughes fight.
Which is concerning in my opinion, but
I agree. I think this is a weight class that he said he didn't want to go back to. Now he's going back to it after losing to Paul Hughes. I think he's a little confused right now after that fight because I think Paul Hughes surprised the shit out of him. Paul Hughes is just really good.
Yes, underrated fighter, a guy, by the way, probably should be in the UFC, but that's another story.
Correct. And this is AJ McKee, who I am, believe it or not, I'm questioning his commitment. I've been questioning his commitment since that fight to the sport of MMA. And when you start having questions about someone in terms of where they're at in their career with the sport, you should probably stay off of it. I'm probably going to stay off this fight depending on how the line looks. I might play it, but this is a fight that's tailor-made for him to lose. Magomedov is just going to try and push the wrestling. He hasn't wrestled into anyone that can wrestle like AJ McKee. AJ McKee is going to have the size advantage. AJ McKee is going to have the punching power advantage. AJ McKee has shown a proficiency at this weight class to dispatch guys with his punching, and this is not a guy who's a dynamic puncher or striker like Paul Hughes. This is a guy who doesn't set up, he doesn't set traps. That's what got AJ into a lot of trouble, plus fight rust, like cage rust. Now he's active. He's coming off that fight from Paul Hughes a year ago. This is AJ McKee's fight to lose. I think he gets it done. I'll say ITD because AJ's historically been a finisher, but we'll see how this fight shakes out and how the lines shake out close to the fight time.
Next fight on the card at men's lightweight, we have Makashirov Zanukov going one-on-one with Takeshi Izumi. Zanukov is 16-4 overall, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia. No age listed. Izumi is 6-3 overall, fighting out of Japan, hailing from Japan, 36 years old.
Izumi's a medalist in like Greco-Roman competition, can wrestle, but that's all he really knows how to do. This is a fight that Makashirov should just batter him low-key. He's battered him on the feet. He can wrestle himself. Azumi is older. He's 36 years old. Doesn't have a lot of fight experience. He's at a disadvantage in the age, disadvantage on the fight experience, disadvantage in the striking. I think Makashirov has him covered pretty much everywhere. I think Makashirov should get him out of there. But the thing is that Azumi kind of durable at times. They get stopped a few fights ago, and Makashirov is a little bit of a decision machine at times too, because he'll just kind of control and hold you as opposed to working for chokes and getting you out of there. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to get to Azumi's back as easily just because of the Greco-Roman background. And he is very strong in certain clinch and underhook positions. To me, this is Makashirov's fight to lose. He's definitely a parlay piece if it's not too juiced. Azumi's a limited fighter, will literally only pummel into you just to wrestle and try to clinch. Makashirov, I think, has the answer there. Got him covered everywhere. Makashirov for the win. Book it.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have Corey Anderson going one-on-one with Dennis Gostov. Overtime is 18-6 overall, fighting out of Illinois, 35 years old. Gostov is 36-8 overall, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 35 years old.
Yeah, this fight's interesting just for the simple fact that Corey Anderson's moving up from light heavyweight to heavyweight. But if you're asking me, Gostov has about a round and a half to kind of put some damage on this guy and get him out of there or sub him. If you're asking me, I think Corey Anderson's going to be able to work the wrestling and get him down and make him work and then tire him out, because after a round and a half, Gostov is sucking for air. Most of his wins, if you see it, even his championship win last year in the PFL World Tournament was in the first round. I think he's going to have a hard time landing on Corey. Corey has made significant improvements, even though Corey's chin's a little questionable.
Yeah, I kind of like this move up for Corey Anderson. I think heavyweight is going to do him good because I think he's going to be the faster guy here. And I think, with his wrestling, should be able to make some noise. I do think it's his fight to lose. I am probably all over Corey, depending on the odds.
I agree. And if you're going to bet Gostov, I think you bet him first round, because I think that's his only condition low-key to win. And I would be curious to see what the value is there. So this is Corey's fight to lose. I think he's going to take him to overtime, take him into deep water, drown him. I'd say he stops him, because I think Gostov gasses so badly, he's not going to be able to stop Corey from just raining down shots on him if he gets on top of him. So
yeah, for me, I'm split on KO decision, but I am leaning a little more decision.
Oh yeah, and I don't hate that. Yeah, I'm on the KO a little bit more, but if it went to decision, I'm not going to be surprised, which is why follow us on all social media platforms to see how we're going to play it. I want to see how he's talking close to the fight time. I also want to see weigh-ins, same thing with my brother, and then we'll make a definite decision come fight time, but the lean is definitely Corey Anderson.
Next fight on the card at women's flyweight, and is currently constituted the co-main event for PFL Africa, we have Dakota Dangerous Dicheva going one-on-one with Lady Samurai Sumiko Inaba. Dicheva is perfect. 14-0, fighting out of England, rep in England, 26 years old. Inaba is 8-1 overall, fighting out of Hawaii, 34 years old.
Yeah, this is a mismatch on epic proportions.
Listen, TLDR, Dicheva should win ITD, but go ahead, break it down.
Probably first round too. I think she's gonna beat her up in the clinch.
Yeah,
Dicheva right now, in my opinion, is the best 125 on the planet, UFC or PFL or any other organization you want to name out there. I think she's a beast. I think this girl is the goods after what she did to the Leo Santos, who is durable historically, and she made her fold over and fucking quit. And I think she was on gear in that fight too. Like
she might have been.
She popped. Yeah, she popped. Yeah. So I'm not, I'm just going to put that out there.
Allegedly.
And she still did that to her. So for me, Inaba is completely out of her depth here. She's a good first round fighter as well, but she's going to be outmatched by a bigger gun here. She does fade down the stretch. Last fight against Orozco, I had bet Inaba and she faded, and Orozco almost made me eat my shit on that fucking bet. Inaba, all the goods, very good looking young lady, good spokesperson for the company, someone that the company would want to get behind. This is Dicheva's era. Dicheva is going to be able to do what she wants in there. I think Dicheva gets out of there within a round and a half. I'm going to say a round. Give me Dicheva by knockout here.
Next fight on the card, and is currently constitute the main event for PFL Africa for the Bellator Middleweight Championship. We have pressure. Johnny Eblen going one-on-one with the Spaniard, Costello Van Steenis. Eblen, perfect. 16-0, the champion, fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, 33 years old. Van Steenis is 16-3 overall. The challenger, fighting out of the Netherlands, but repping Spain, 32 years old.
Yeah, there's a guy in Van Steenis who has literally lost to like top tier fighters. He lost to Douglas Lehman, no shame in that, and then lost to John Salter, who at one point was a top tier fighter and pushes a lot of wrestling and grappling. The problem is, the difference between John Salter and Johnny Eblen is that Johnny Eblen is a better wrestler. Johnny Eblen has better entries. Johnny Eblen makes better decisions on the single legs, transitioning to the double legs, riding the back, getting the wrist rise on the far side. John Salter, good at that, but he's just not the best at getting you to the floor. Van Steenis is very big for the weight class, has made significant improvements in his wrestling and takedown defense, does pop back up, did beat Fabian Edwards, but bothers me in that fight is that he got taken down by Fabian Edwards. I don't know if it was just a Leon Edwards or Edwards in general family meme takedown like he did to Kamaru Usman. I don't want to take anything away from Fabian and Leon being able to surprise people, but Valentin is big for the weight class. He knows what to expect from this guy. So Poirier is the champion. These countrymen always seem to rally together. If Valentin is a disrespectful dog here, I don't think he's a bad play because the guy does pop up. He has shown improvements. He's big for the weight class. Eblin did struggle against Impa Kasanganai, who was able to stuff the takedowns and land damage. I thought Impa won that fucking fight. I thought it was a highway robbery that he lost that fight. Valentin is big, does throw in volume, knows how to lower his level when he's throwing punches, will throw in bunches to hurt you and to land damage. Johnny Eblin, to his credit, has improved his striking. This is his fight to lose, which is why he's the lean. But from a betting perspective, if this line is disrespectful, I don't think Valentin is a bad play. Give me Johnny Eblin as the lean, Valentin as a possible dog play.
And that does it for PFL Africa. Me and my brother have been not only in sync in terms of the breakdowns, but in terms of the picks overall. Moving right along to the sweet signs, we have a plethora of fights, and we're going to be kicking it off with a matchroom card with a, decent couple of fights. We're going to kick it off here with Ammo Williams, Austin Williams going one-on-one with El Chapo, Antonisa Oliaha. I hope I said that name correctly. I apologize. Williams, Austin Williams, Ammo Williams, 18-1 overall, fighting out of Houston, Texas, 29 years old. Entinosa is perfect, 21-0, fighting out of Italy, repping Italy, 27 years old.
Yeah, love Ammo Williams on this podcast. Me and my brother both do, but I'll be honest with you. I think this is a fight that's very interesting just based on the betting odds. Antinosa is sitting at a plus like 450, which I think is a little bit insane because Ammo Williams is a little bit of a limited fighter. In a lot of ways, does have decent power, does have decent boxing acumen. But even in his last fight against, I think his name was Volhi, if I'm correct. Let me double check that for you, ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed forward. It was against a Volny, my apologies, who was actually a pretty decently touted prospect. But he's a guy that kind of stands straight up and walks forward, very flat-footed. This is a guy in Oliha, if I pronounce his name correctly.
I hope so.
Yeah, my apologies, my guy.
We'll call him El Chapo, or we'll call him
Yeah, we'll just say El Chapo. So I'm with. I think El Chapo, he moves his feet very well. Doesn't have like the highest knockout rate, but he's built like a brick shit house. He has like 20 wins, if I'm correct, and like 9 knockouts or some shit.
21-0.
Yeah, and 9 knockouts. Does not finish a lot of dudes, but he's built like a brick shit house. He does have decent pop on his punches. Ammo Williams is a little bit flat-footed in there. This is a guy in El Chapo who knows how to move his feet, does what he has to do, knows how to create angles, exits out properly. Ammo Williams has some defensive deficiencies, low volume at times, especially when he's not getting his way, or when he can make it a dogfight against Shiraz, then it's there. But if you're asking me, this is a possible dog spot just because I have a couple of issues with Williams's deficiencies and lack of boxing acumen at times. Hard to me to say that because I love him, but at plus 430, I think it's a little bit disrespectful, even though Austin Williams has fought the better brand of competition. I think styles make matchups in boxing. There's a guy who's going to be able to move his feet, get out the way. Give me El Chapo for the possible dog upset here. Not sure if I'm there to play it because Austin Williams could just show him that there's levels because this is a big step up in competition for El Chapo. I'm just going predominantly for what I'm seeing on tape and El Chapo's footwork. Give me Austin Williams for the lean, but give me El Chapo as a possible dog play.
Next fight on the card for the US WBC and WBO International Super Middleweight titles, we have Diego Pacheco going one-on-one with Trevor McCumbee. Pacheco, perfect, 23-0. Fighting out of Renton, Washington, 24 years old. McCumbee, 28-1 overall. Fighting out of Glendale, Arizona, 32 years old.
Yeah, this fight's amazing. This is probably one of the best fights of the weekend. Diego Pacheco showed me a lot in his last contest, knew how to fight off his back foot, made a lot of good defensive responsible decisions, but can knock you out too. I think he's like a 80 or 90% finisher, if I'm correct, according to his record. I think he has like 22 wins and like 18 knockouts or something like that. So for me, this guy he's a very good boxer. not only from the punching power perspective, but also from a technical boxing acumen. There's a guy in Trevor McCumbee, not as good from the technical boxing acumen, but dude, he cracks. He covers space. This is one of the few podcasts, if you tune back in, that we actually said that if he could reel it in against Caleb Plant, he would have some success. And that's exactly what he did. People were just shitting on him all over the broadcast, saying that, who is this guy, blah, 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 blah. But there's a guy who used to spar with David Benavidez, was David Benavidez one of his main training partners. That Plant fight was his first fight in a long time. I think it's because he was impersonating his Dr. Disrespect for years. He looks just like the dude. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's a situation where I look at McCumbee. He has all the physical gifts. Can he put it together against this guy? The knockdowns in this fight scream at me because Pacheco has power, because McCumbee has power, and because McCumbee has defensive deficiencies as well too. Plant kind of exposed in the last fight. I don't know if McCumbee's going to be able to overcome it in this fight. Diego Pacheco can fight on the inside. McCumbee got buried on the inside by Plant. Once Plant figured out he could bury him on the inside. And the only thing I will say why this fight's interesting is that Pacheco likes to fight on the outside a lot. He has a couple of fights via stoppage via body shot, but he barely throws it. But when he throws it, he lands, and he lands with authority. So for me, he's a sneaky body puncher because he's low volume with the body punching. But this is a fight where knockdowns scream at me because McCumbee can drop him too if he catches him. We'll see how it comes close to the fight time. I don't know if I'm confident enough to play that knockdown prop. But this is a Pacheco fight to lose. I think he's probably going to dog walk him. I think he stops McCumbee in the second half of this fight with damage. Give me Pacheco by knockout, probably around 7 through 12. And the knockdowns, that's a possible look in this fight.
Next fight on the card, and is currently constituted the main event for this matchroom portion of the sweet science breakdown we have coming for you guys for the Ring Magazine, the WBC World, and the WBO World Super Flyweight titles. We have Jesse Bam Rodriguez going one-on-one with Pumahele Cafu. Rodriguez, perfect, 21-0, fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, 25 years old. The Truth, Cafu, is 11-0-3 overall, fighting out of South Africa, 26 years old.
Yeah, this is a super interesting fight for a lot of reasons. Cafu, relative unknown, had a huge upset against Tanaka in his last fight. He was able to drop Tanaka, hurt him early, and then pretty much points him to a decision there. The thing is, at the end of that fight, Tanaka was able to put pressure on him and almost fucking kill him in the last round of that fight. The one thing that Cafu does very good counterpuncher, very slick, very high fight, good ring IQ, knows how to use his feet. This is a great fight for Jesse Rodriguez. This is also a fight where I feel like Jesse Rodriguez can get dropped because Cafu does one thing very good. He knows how to punch in between punches. Like, that's not an easy skill to develop in boxing, and he does it in every fight. He's able to punch while the other guy's punching and catch them. Jesse Rodriguez does seem to get into gunfights a lot. He is going to win this fight, in my opinion, because I don't think Cafu has the finishing acumen. Like, he's not like a shark in the water when he smells blood. He is a guy that will hurt you and then dance on you a little bit. Jesse Rodriguez is a finisher. Jesse Rodriguez is the more dynamic power puncher. He's the more dynamic body puncher. And I feel like this is a fight where Jesse Rodriguez should be able to get him out of there between mid to late rounds, especially with the body work and the pressure that he's going to be able to put on him. The knockdowns also scream at me in this fight because Cafu can knock him down as well too. Because he's good at punching in between punches. I'm not sure if I'm there to betting it, but this is Bam's fight to lose. This is Bam's fight to win by knockout. Give me Bam Rodriguez to bury him in the mid to late rounds of this fight. Bam Rodriguez by knockout.
Moving right along from Matchroom to PBC, we have a loaded PBC card, and we're going to be kicking it off with Gary Russell Jr. going one-on-one with Hugo Castaneda. Mr. Gary Russell Jr. is 31-2 overall, fighting out of Capitol Heights, Maryland, 37 years old. Castaneda is 15-2-1 overall, fighting out of Texas, but repping Mexico, 23 years old.
Yeah, this is a fight where low-key, if it was 3 years ago and Gary Russell was active, it would be Gary Russell all day. And believe it or not, I think I'm still there. I think Gary Russell's going to probably stop this guy. Hugo Castaneda has a lot of defensive deficiencies. Like, he gets hit a lot. And he's a guy that kind of wails. He's a guy in the parking lot of the bar that gets drunk and just starts swinging, starts throwing wailing punches. And this is a guy in Gary Russell, very defensively responsible. Yeah, he's been out the ring for 3 years, but this is Gary Russell fucking Jr. This guy comes from a long lineage between his father and his brothers of good boxers, very defensively responsible, makes good decisions, has decent pop, went to a majority decision with Lomachenko, which means that one judge actually gave them a draw. And to do that with Lomachenko is impressive. His last fight that he lost was against a guy who was huge for the weight class in the Philippines. Good punching power, good speed, very explosive. No shame in that. It was a close fight. Gary Russell didn't get the nod. Could argue he won the fight low-key. But if you're asking me, this is a fight where Gary Russell should shine. I think he knocks him out. I would say mid to late rounds because he's going to have some ring rust. This is his fight, and I think he should get it done via stoppage. Give me Gary Russell Jr. by knockout here.
Next fight on the card, we have Brandon Figueroa, the Heartbreaker, going one-on-one with Joet Gonzalez. Figueroa is 25-2-1 overall, fighting out of Velasco, Texas, 28 years old. Gonzalez is 27-4 overall, fighting out of Los Angeles, California, 31 years old.
This is going to be your classic Mexican style fight. Just like this is going to be the first one of the card that's going to be like this. This is a fight that should go to decision. I like the overs just because Brandon Figueroa is a guy not with the most dynamic punching power, and Joet Gonzalez is a fucking dog who is durable, has been in there with the likes of Dog Bay, who can crack, went to a split decision with him. Navarrete was able to hurt Navarrete at certain parts of that fight, lost via unanimous decision, and lost to Shakur Stevenson, who's just a boxing genius, to be frank, even though he's a guy that will put you to sleep. He's a Thursday night fighter according to Tank. But to casuals, to people who understand the sport, we appreciate Shakur Stevenson. So my buddy, we love you here.
Half body, but he's still representing, and he's from Jersey.
We love you here, but it is what it is. This is a fight with Joet Gonzalez where I don't want to say he's a live dog. I think Brandon Figueroa is going to figure him out and put the damage on him and put more volume than him. Plus, he's the bigger guy here. Joet has seemed to just struggle against guys that outsize him, out physical him historically in his career, considering he's not one of the biggest guys for this weight class. But there's a guy where he's a fucking dog, man. Like he's a real dog. He's going to hit him. He's going to land damage. I like the overs in this fight. I like Brendan probably via decision here. Not with a high degree of confidence. I don't know if I'm there to betting it. That's where I'm at. But because I think I respect Joel's game that much. But give me Brandon Figueroa by decision here for all the reasons I listed. And that's where I'm standing.
Next fight on the card, we have the Pitbull, Isaac Cruz, going one-on-one with Tashiro Angel Fidel. Pitbull Cruz is 27-3-1 overall. Fighting out of Mexico, rep in Mexico, 28 years old. Angel Fierro is 23-3-2 overall. Fighting out of San Diego, California, but repping Mexico, 31 years old.
Yeah, this fight is going to be a banger because the first fight was a banger. It was classic Mexican style fight. Fierro, very durable. Isaac Cruz, very durable. This is a contest where Tank couldn't get this guy out of here. This guy fought against Isaac Cruz and Fierro and did not get out of there. They've only lost via decision. I expect this fight to go over, possibly. But the only thing that gives me a little bit of room for concern for this fight is that they had a fight of the year contender 6 months ago. And the amount of damage that they put on each other, someone could be a little shaky here. I'm curious as to where they set the line. Matter of fact, and I'll roll that back actually. The unders scare me a little bit, but this is a fight where I'm going to lean the better fighter. I think Isaac Cruz gets it done via decision. I'll roll back what I said about the over because I'm not sure. Just because of the damage landed on each other the last fight. It was a fight of the year contender. But this is Isaac Cruz's fight to lose. I think he, despite not being able to cut the ring off, he was able to do the better work. He put the better volume out there. He was able to finish up strong down the stretch because he is the more of, I guess, the world championship caliber fighter, where Fierro's more of a journeyman, respectfully, because he has had some tough contests. But this is Isaac Cruz's fight to lose. Give me Isaac Cruz via decision here. Not with a high degree of confidence. We're going to see how the lines shake out. Follow us on all social media platforms to see how we're going to play it.
Next fight on the card, and as currently constituted the co-main event for this loaded PBC card, we have for the WBC World and the WBO World Super Welterweight titles. Sebastian Fundora going one-on-one with Tim Tszyu. The Towering Inferno. Fundora is 22-1-1. Fighting out of Coachella, California, 27 years old. The Soul Taker. Tim Tszyu is 25-2 overall. Fighting out of Australia, repping Australia, 30 years old.
Yeah, this is a fight that's like super interesting for a lot of reasons, and it's because both of these gentlemen have a lot of questions to answer. Yeah, they looked impressive in their last fights, but they were against guys that they were supposed to do whatever they did to, which is like highway murder low-key. Allegedly, they knocked them the fuck out. But there's a guy in Tim Tszyu who lost to Bakram Mirzataliev, who is a monstrous puncher, got nuked by him. And there's a guy in Sebastian Fundora who has to validate his first win against him. He only won via split decision. You could make a strong argument that Sebastian Fundora essentially won the fight just because Tim Tszyu absorbed a big cut on his head and could not see and lost a lot of blood in that fight. And it was just a dirty, disgusting fight with Tim Tszyu losing blood. It was hard to watch. But Tim Tszyu was still able to land damage. Before the cut, he was able to land damage pretty effectively on Fundora. Fundora, even though he's learned to fight from the outside, he still absorbs a lot of damage, a lot more than I like him to. With that said, I'm going to go with the more experienced Tim Tszyu here, who I trust to take his time, find his shots like he did in the first fight, and to kind of build up on what he did from his last contest against Joey Spencer, who is a very good defensive fighter in his own right. He was able to get him out of there within 4 rounds, which is pretty impressive. I thought that fight could go a little further. Still a relative tomato can relative to Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora, I still feel is limited. Not the biggest puncher. Low-key, he's just big. He kind of has power when he wants to. Tim Tszyu has shown that he can absorb his shots, even though he couldn't absorb Murtazaliev's shots. I'm going to roll the dice here and say Tim Tszyu's going to win this. This fight's almost lined at a pick 'em, a little bit more in favor for Tim Tszyu. Don't know if I want to touch it, but the official lean for the podcast is Tim Tszyu, and I'm going to say Tim Tszyu by knockout here. Probably mid to late rounds of this fight.
Next fight on the card, and as currently constituted the main event for this, again, loaded PBC card for the WBC World Welterweight title, we have Mario Barrios going one-on-one with Manny Pacquiao. Barrios, El Azteca, is 29-2-1 overall, fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, 30 years old. And Pac-Man, Pacquiao, in the year of our Lord, 2025, is 62-8-2, fighting out of the Philippines, 46 years old.
Yeah, this is a fight, man, that's super high variance for a lot of reasons. We have a guy who's 45 years old coming out of retirement.
46.
Sorry. I try to be nice. Yeah, this is a guy who literally had a fight against Yordenis Ugas, old ass Yordenis Ugas, 4 years ago. That was his last professional fight, got dog walked. Beat Keith Thurman via split decision, but like low key, I think Keith Thurman was just sleeping on him, to be frank with you. Keith got dropped in the beginning of that fight. Manny kind of fell off as that fight went on, which is big signs of just age and wear and tear and not being able to push that far into fights anymore, especially at this level. He's going against a Mario Barrios who's been extremely active. Had his last fight, it went to a draw with Abel Ramos, who is a big puncher low key. So I expect Mario to be able to weather Manny early. I think this is a fight where Manny Pacquiao, if you're going to bet him, you have to bet him within the first 4 to 6 rounds. He probably will drop Mario Barrios because he's going to be the quicker fighter, at least early. I like the knockdowns in this fight, low-key, from both sides. But Barrios is super susceptible to getting hit too. Yeah, he's only been knocked out by Tank, but he was also thoroughly outboxing Tank before he got knocked out. With that said, I have to lean the younger guy here and Mario Barrios. I think he gets this done via decision because he's shown at this level against the Ugases, against the Fabian Maidanas, against the Abel Ramosos, the elite level fighters. And I still think Manny Pacquiao, despite his age, has good boxing acumen and good boxing survival skills. I think he probably survives this contest. I think he goes all 12. I think Mario Barrios gets the slight, probably majority or split decision lean because the judges are going to be super biased towards Pac-Man because he is a legend in the sport, arguably a top 5 boxer of all time, but considering the weight classes he won in. I think he squeaks out the decision here, man, but don't know if I want to touch it because Mario Barr is sitting at a heavy favorite. I got to see what his decision looks like, and I'm going to look and see what his late round stoppage brownie points look like in terms of props and value. But for me, the lean's going to be Mario Barrios, and I'll say by decision here.
Moving right along from PBC to Queensberry. To top it all off, to finish our coverage for the Sweet Science, for the undisputed heavyweight title, we have Alexander Usyk going one-on-one with Daniel Dynamite Dubois. Usyk, perfect. 23-0, the champion, fighting out of Ukraine, repping to Ukraine, 38 years old. Dubois, 22-2 overall. Also the champion, fighting out of England, repping England, 27 years old.
Yeah, they got this fight lined at minus 460 for Usyk and plus 320 for Dubois. I think that makes a lot of sense considering this recent run that Dubois has been on. Dubois has made significant improvements. I think he's gotten his head really right. Low-key, like, pause. I think he's toughened up. He's not looking for the door when he gets hurt and when things are not going his way like he did in the first Usyk fight, which was his last loss. I'm intrigued by possible knockdowns in this fight, but because Usyk might drop him, low-key, Usyk is going to have the footwork advantage, the speed advantage, because he's a natural cruiserweight moving up to heavyweight. There's a guy who's coming off of 2 wins against Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury's trying to get that rematch again, which he's just there for the bag. I think Usyk just got his number. I thought Fury would have some success against Usyk, and I was wrong. Usyk beat him twice and beat him more distinctly the second time than the first time. I have a hard time seeing how Daniel Dubois, who is essentially a flat-footed fighter and a guy who is less mobile than Tyson Fury, is going to be able to catch Usyk in certain spots. You have the controversial shot that Dubois landed on Usyk where he dropped him and Usyk hit the floor and they claimed it was an illegal shot. I thought it was on the belt. I'm not sure what it is, what the rule is, low-key, because you have certain boxing experts that say it's clean. They have certain other boxing experts that say it's dirty. I don't really give a shit. I thought he hurt him to the body, if you're asking me, and that's why Usyk hit the floor. Usyk is susceptible to the body. If Dubois can develop a game plan to effectively go to the body, he will have success in this fight. But if you're asking me, it's very difficult to bet against Usyk at this point of his career. I think he's going to retire undefeated. I think Alexander Usyk probably gets this fight done via decision, but I would not be surprised at a late round stoppage considering the amount of volume he could put on Dubois. So that's what I'm going to be looking at, but it's Usyk by decision. Usyk possibly 9-12, 7-12, considering what the value may be. May sprinkle on it. It's a hedge. Keep in touch on all social media platforms and we'll let you know how we're going to bet it. Keep in touch. You know what it is. And that should do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, like my brother just mentioned, that's it. We're done. It's a wrap. Episode 107 in the books. There goes all our MMA. There goes all our boxing. It's a giga episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And my brother, please, one last time, take us home.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. Love you guys. See you next week for episode 108. We out. It's been a long day, long episode. Holla at you. See you next week. Love you guys. Drop your comments for any fights that we may or may not have covered. Take it easy. See you next week. Holla.